UAE or even Abu Dhabi. Yes, when we look at security guard job, it may be the easiest entry job for you to come in the Gulf to get that big opportunity. However, most of you have been asking me a lot of questions regarding to how can I find or how can I get a security guard job? Yes, series comparing to what existed before, things keep on changing every single day. There are new ways of recruitment that companies prefer than what we thought about or that what existed before. Yes, in today's video, I want to take you through some of these very important steps and what you need to know if you're looking for a security guard job in Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, or even Oman. Yes, hi guys, most of you have thought of coming as a security guard in these Gulf countries. If you're planning to come to Qatar, if you're planning to come to Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Abu Dhabi, or let's say the UAE, maybe you're going to work in the free zone in Sharjah and anywhere. When you look at security guard job, especially in the Gulf countries, yes, remember when we are talking about this job, most of you thought about coming as a security these Gulf countries. If you're going to work in Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, or even Abu Dhabi. Yes, when you look at security guard job, it may be the easiest entry job for you to come in the Gulf to get that big opportunity. However, most of you have been asking me a lot of questions regarding to how can I find or how can I get a security guard job? Yes, series comparing to what existed before, things keep on changing every single day. There are new ways of recruitment that companies prefer than what we thought about or that what existed before. Yes, in today's video, I want to take you through some of these very important steps and what you need to know if you're looking for a security guard job in Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, or even Oman. Yes, hi guys, most of you have thought of coming as a security guard in these Gulf countries. If you're planning to come to Qatar, if you're planning to come to Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Abu Dhabi, or let's say the UAE, maybe you're going to work in the free zone in Sharjah and anywhere. When you look at security guard job, especially in the Gulf countries, yes, remember when we are talking about this job, most of you thought about coming as a security guard. Yes, well, that's a very good idea. Even personally myself, I would it is the same entry point that I used to come in the Gulf because it was the valuable opportunities. However, something that definitely need to let you know, there are quite a number of things or number of steps definitely you need to follow before you think of what you call looking for what you call a security guard job, or even until to the time that you get that job. By the way, is it your first time to come across Mexcreationtv? Don't hesitate to give him a subscribe button. Don't hesitate to follow, like, and share the video. For those, especially those that are coming to this Gulf country, especially Qatar, I'll give you a hint, I'm making your life simpler and easier, navigating all the intricacies of how to live in Qatar, and now basically you can make your life and benefit from whatever you are going to do. Yes, when we look at finding what you call a security guard jobs in Qatar, in Bahrain, yes, I just prepared for you a guide, a step-by-step guide that definitely you need to know or what you need to put in consideration before you even think about looking for that job, before you even think about having the job at your hand and start working. When we look at this kind of requirement or this guide is going to give you all the steps that definitely you need to understand from the time, the requirements that definitely you need to know, the requirement you need until to the time when you are going to start your work. Wherever you may be recruited, it may be a company, it may be a personal individual. Yes, well, don't go away to this video until you get off. Yes. Okay, let us try to look at your planning. Now, you are a newcomer coming outside Qatar or coming outside of any of these Gulf countries. You are looking at what coming a security guard job. Yes, first of all, you need to understand what are the requirements. Yes, that is normally most of the time I tell people what you want to come as a security guard. Yes, well, good and good, but what are the requirements for that job? It's quite very, very important. Most of you will find that you've been kicked out of what you call the visa, what you call the job interviews, because you do not meet the requirements. And the reason being that you do not research enough about the job itself before you think of applying for the job. Yes, most of us will agree with us. Most of you will have come through recruitment agencies. Yes, they will give you an outline of what are the requirements that are needed by that particular company or by that particular recruiting company. So definitely what you need to understand is that you need to follow, we need to know what are the requirements. Yes, let us get through. Now, you need to prepare the documents. That's number 2. You also need to prepare the documents. Yes, preparing the documents that entities you to be eligible to apply for the job, or the documents that will enable you to travel in case you get the visa. Then look for the websites. If it's going to look for the website, then check the websites. What websites are you going to use to make sure that you can do what? You can search the job. That's very important. It's not about say, I need a job, and you just sit and you find the job is going to find out. Most of the time, if it's not recruitment agencies, then definitely you can use what you call the company websites. Well and good, that can be a very good. You go to the career pages of this kind of individual companies that when you want, then you can apply. Yes, look at applying. That is something else you need to understand, that you need to apply for the job. That's the job that you want. It may be depending on which kind of particular role you are, and it depends on which kind of specialty you have. You might be a CCT operator and you have the credentials, you have the certificates. Yes, we apply for that. You may tailor your CV or applying your CV, asking for a team leader or a supervisor, patrolling supervisor. That means your CV should be tailored to that requirement that you feel you can do best out of yourself. Then you, after that, yes, you need to prepare in your interview in case you are being recruited or called upon. Then there's what you call visa process. Yes, when there's a visa process, you are being selected by most of these companies. Yes, when you agree, most of these companies now are coming individual by individual to these particular areas. For the people in Africa, you'll agree with me, those people recruiting the human resources and those representatives from this country now are coming back home to check what kind of the requirements and what they are recruiting, not like why it used to be. Then let us look at arrival in Qatar and what we call starting what you call your work here. So those are particular steps that definitely as an individual you need definitely to understand. Okay, let us try to go in one by one. Let us try to understand what are the requirements for you that you need to come as a security guard. It may be not Qatar, maybe Kuwait, or even any other country. What are the requirements? One, the age must be between 21 to 45 years. If you are planning to come as a security guard, it should be within that age. Then education, you should have the minimum of what we call the high school or even equivalent. Things are changing, not like they used to be before. Education now requirements, the minimum is required. Especially look at even people in Qatar here. They require that minimum because you need to go for what you call the MOI certification, or what we call the MOI training, the Ministry of the Interior. Then we look at physical fitness. Yes, understand the physical fitness of your body, whether you are physically fit. Most of these roles of the security guard roles, you definitely will emphasize you to work for what you call 12 hours. So are you really fit enough to stand for 12 hours, or are you real enough to stand for 8 hours? Yes, like most of these guys, people think, and definitely if you find your medical cannot exercise you to that role, then you'll not be able. That means the document or the requirement or the requirement, you do not fulfill the requirement. Yes, we look at language. Language also is very important when you look at most of these Arab Gulf countries. Yes, you'll find that there are situations where they need what you call the basic of English, and they will need the basic of what you call Arabic, which may be another advantage if you're willing to come. Yes, most of the time you see that the people that have not been able to speak English, but they can speak Arabic and are being placed in those projects that speak Arabic, and definitely they ended up being given the positions or given what you call roles, or even being posted where to work. So that's quite very important also. Then look at what you call criminal record. A clear criminal record, a clean, clear record. That definitely you'll agree with me. Most of you'll agree with me now. They are asking for what you call the police clearance certificate. Why are they asking for the police clearance certificate? Not just because of a formality that they need to see the paper on ground, but they need to see what is the criminal record that definitely you have. Are you fit to work in the country? Because most of the global countries, or most of the countries, yes, when you look at this kind of service, definitely they'll look at people who are clear. that do not have even records that are being portrayed to them in one way or the other. Okay, now that is what we call the requirements, part of the requirements that you need to understand as you're planning to come for the security guard job. Okay, let us now try to look at what we call preparing the documents. Yes, get ready with the following. If you are planning to come as a security guard, you should be able to prepare this document. They should be at your hand because you are looking for a job and you are looking for a security guard role. By the way, did you know that most of the countries, or there are some Gulf countries, where securities are paid more than even the salary of some local government leaders or in our countries? Yes, definitely agree. It will also depend on what you call the experience. It will also depend on what you call the certifications and that curiosity you have for that work and what you are being recruited for. Let us try to check what are those documents you need to prepare. First of all, you need to update what you call your CV. Most of you've used CVs that are updated, which are comparatively for people who are recruiting. Definitely they will say no. They will just look at your CV and no, you are inexperienced, you cannot do the work, and you definitely, most of you been left out for that regard. So definitely update your CV before even you think of applying for the job. It's quite very important for you. It's going to help you. It's going to help you. The person recruiting is going to know the person who is recruiting, and it will end up also giving you what you call higher chances for you to be recruited. Let us look at the passport. Most of you've thought of applying for a security guard job, but you don't even have a passport. Remember, a passport is a travel document that will exercise you to be given a visa, and it is the document that will accept you to be accepted in another country for travel, crossing over boundaries. So before you even think, have the passport with you, because it's one of the requirements that definitely as a document that you're supposed to have for yourself. Then we look at, but have something else I need to let you regarding to the passport. It should be valid. It should be at least more than 6 months, yes, before it's expired. Most of you know that's really is one of the visa requirements for any country that is applying for a visa in the passport. Then you look at passport size photos with a white background. It depends on the kind of requirement of that country. Most people require passport photos with a white background, depending on if they're asking for hard copies or soft copies. That should be also with you at a time. Then look at education certificates. Yes, most of you agree with me. There are the education certificates that are being required, and definitely as an individual, you need to have them depending on what kind of role you are applying for. Let's say, for example, you're applying for what you call a CCTV operator. Yes, definitely there should be a certification, additional certification that definitely you need to have. If you're applying as a senior supervisor, if you're applying as a senior patrolling supervisor, if you're going to apply as a manager, by the way, there is no big deal about it. If you are applying for what you call a security manager, yes, that is it. If you have the requirements, you have the skills, you have everything, definitely don't fear, you can still apply for that. Let us try to look at the police clearance certificates. That's most what you call the certificate of good conduct. Yes, most of you will agree, if you are newcomers, you are coming in the Gulf countries, let's say, for example, now I'll talk on the behalf of Qatar, definitely you need what we call a police clearance. It's quite very important. It's very, very important to have what you call a police clearance certificate. And most of you will agree with me, for people who are here, definitely, you'll also agree with me that for people who have been changing from one job to a security guard job, yes, they will still also require for you to have what you call a police clearance certificate. And leave alone even that most of you have seen that some particular jobs, they are requiring what you have a police clearance certificate. So before you think of that, and you newcomer coming to Qatar, definitely think of having what you call a police clearance certificate with you. Then we look at medical certificates. Yes, will agree with me. There is medical. There's what you call pre-medical before you come into this country in case you are given a visa. Yes, pre-medical is just going to double check you that are you eligible, are you medically fit for you to work in this country, such that by the time you come to this country to take what you call the medicals for you to have a work permit, definitely you will agree with me. It's just a clear go away that you pass the medicals. Yes, most of us or most of you've come into these Gulf countries, but you have what you call fake medical certificates. So you've ended up even being disappointing, highly wasting all your money or even the resources, well knowing that even your medical itself is not fit enough to be given what you call a work permit or recruited. And most of you've ended up being repatriated back because you know the medical is not good and you are aware that the medical is not good. There are some diseases that are criminal can be treated. Let's say, for example, in Qatar, they will give you a waiver. They will give you the card, but they will give you a waiver, and you definitely go to treatment until you can surpass what you call the medical in any way. Okay, let us try to look at search for jobs. Yes, for searching for jobs, it may depend. You can use company, you can use online searching website, look at Indeed.com, Byte, Gulf Talent, LinkedIn. There are those posts that definitely will advertise roles depending on where you want to work and where you want to work. Then also we look at individually recruitment agencies. Especially I was trying to speak to someone and I definitely say that most of this generation or most of these times now, most of these companies that are going to recruit what we call security guard, they will come physically and see what they are recruiting. Not like before. I just remember that time when I was recruited, I was just by Skype. Even the person recruiting me, because I was only seated by Skype, get to answer. He did not know how much height I have, how much weight I have, but comparatively, what was really very good with me is what was coming out of me was really perfect, right, matching to what the requirement of that company. So I was given a visa very fast before even I had to hesitate for this or that, which is quite not right before like what is apparent right now. Apparent right now, they will look at very many things. Most of you will agree with me, will go to Dubai, will look at the TransGuard. TransGuard has its own requirements. Most of you will go to these other companies. Yes, even Qatar now is weighing up. There are requirements that definitely they will need. Your height, weight, the skills and those that they kept to add. And most of things that definitely will agree with me, they work out. Look at people who are going to Dubai, TransGuard, and the rest of things. You'll agree with me that you've been asked a lot of multiple things, requirements for you that you need to fulfill at once. So another thing also, when you look at applying for jobs, you can also definitely also apply on what we call the company websites. Yes, most of you, I say, when you know this is a company that in, let's say for example, I need to go to GA Voice, I need to go to Aslaya, I need to go to TransGuard, I need to go to Magnum Security, Qatar Security Services. Yes, definitely. Go research about that company. Go to the website, check, try to ask around. They're networking and trying to find out good information regarding to the company. You can definitely get the information. Then you can apply. Try to ask. You can try to apply and get to what we call the company website. There are always what we call the career pages. Definitely you can apply. Yes, for those that are so lucky, and definitely you may not be a newcomer but already in Qatar, maybe on a visit, you can try to visit most of these offices and try to request if they have placements for you that you can be fulfilled in one or the other. So now we are looking at searching for the company websites on how to apply for those jobs. Okay, now let us try to look at another step, that is applying. Yes, when you are applying, yes, most of us will come to write CVs. Writing CVs. You write a CV that's contemporary, so much different. Wow. Different from what you are asking for. And most of the employer, most of people who are recruiting, they will tailor their CVs looking at what you call the mission related skills as a security guard. Look at vigilancy, look at crowd control, look at CCTV monitoring. Those are some of the skills that definitely as an individual you need to put in what we call a CV in case on a particular role. Yes, I personally myself have got a chance to be on a screening or what we call a screening panel for what we call interviews. But it's so very, very, very funny for people that come interviews. Yes, for an interview, it does not mean to come to scare you or to say that you should be perfectly that person that the company is looking for. But the confidence within you, what is written and how you can get back to this interviewer, looking at this interviewer is quite very important. Building confidence, facing this person, answering this question, being short and precise. Don't touch what is not being asked. Most of you have ended up failing that, the presentation. You've ended up failing, even if someone is to approve and say, okay, fine. You need to go to the next stage. This person has already said, no, he has already put a cross with you before even you answer more than that question. So normal of the time, you see this happens. The CV, how you draft your CV should be partially something that definitely should understand. Also, let us try to look at submitting online or submitting through what you call the recruitment agencies. Most of you are agreeing you submitted your CV or everywhere, search recruitment agencies or submitting on online. Yes, try to follow up. Yes, depending on that company, try to follow up. Try to tap an email to try to follow up. Yes, most of you may be so lucky and you're being picked out of that in one way or the other. Yes, then also we look at word of mouth, we can say connection and networking strategies. Yes, networking strategies may be very good. Like, for example, let's say talk about people in Qatar. You are already inside Qatar. Networking from one security guard to company to another. Yes, by connection to one person, go to these offices because already you're in the country. You are within the vicinity area that houses these companies. Go to their offices, to the human resource. Try to ask one by one, or try to ask whether you have their other attachment or roles that definitely you can apply for. Let us try to look at now. You've applied your CV, you've been selected. Yes, well and good. That's a very good opportunity. Yes. You've been selected and now you are preparing or you are going for what you call the interview. It's another daily mail where people have got so rated and people have ended up making mistakes when they are going for what you call the interview. Yes, when you are going for interview, you've applied for a team leader, you applied for a security supervisor, the CCTV operator, you've applied for a team leader, but you do not even know the roles of that mentioned position that you applied for. Yes, you are left up in front of what you call the interviewers, and you just not confident of yourself. You cannot get back to the questions that are being asked you. What do you think about this person who definitely has to choose you to be among that group that he wants to select? Definitely would say no. Yes. Learn. There's some questions that definitely you need to learn. In security, there are some things that definitely need to learn. Like, for example, look at what are the security guard duties. Yes, those are very important. Most of the frequent questions that is being asked, but how do you get it back? Then we look at what questions that will be asked, like how do you handle emergencies? How do you handle theft? How do you have conflict resolution, emergencies, evacuation in case there is fire, and those kinds. You should have those tips. How do you handle safety? For example, there is a theft in that area or in that location where you are. How do you definitely get to handle it? Then also something else when it comes to interview is what we call maintaining neatness and maintaining what we call the appearance. Most of you have come to interviews, and you've come to interviews like you're going to what you call a market. Imagine you are going to stand in front of maybe 7 interviewers, or even people you don't know, or even people don't know anything about you. People who have interviewed more than 50 people, and you are among those 50 people, and the kind of appearance that you come, how you dress, how you smell, your presentation. Yes, this also is one mark that definitely will give you a mark for that person who is in the selection, whether to select you or not to select you. Let us try to look at now. You are being selected for an interview and you are waiting for what you call the visa processing. Yes, the employer. It is now the role of the employer to apply for what you call your visa. And remember that this is supposed to be bound by what you call your employer. Yes, most of you, but remember, most of you from the recruitment companies or recruitment agencies, let's say, for example, you came through recruitment agencies where we are coming from, in our countries, we ended up paying a lot of sums of money to the middlemen, and they're being scripted off, lying you, coming here, and it's not worth what you signed for. That. So avoid that. Normally, when companies are recruiting, I normally tell you, when a company recruiting, if the company bears what you call the visa cost and also bears the fee, the flight ticket. The other agreements may come in because of what you call connection and commission to those recruitment agencies. Then also, when it comes to visa, you're selected, maybe you are in the country, they will need to take what you call your biometrics data, and you need to pass what you call the medical. Most of you, we talk about medical fitness test. Most of you have ended up going back home because of what you call the medical, failing what you call the medical fitness test. Remember, in these Gulf countries, it's quite very important when we are talking about medical fitness test. You should be physical. You should be fit to work, to have, or to get what you call a work permit or residence card. You must be able to stand for long hours. You must have not what we call scraped communicable diseases that definitely may prove hard to treat when you come to this country. Most of you have had medical attempts, one chance, second chance, until third, when they cannot hold you more. How to just only find out your certificate as you are unfit. It's quite very, very painful that you paid a lot of sums of money to come, but later the medical get out of you and you fail them. Yes, let us try to look at now the medical. You've had the pre-medical as you are coming here. Now you are already in Qatar. Yes, you are already in Qatar, or you're already in Oman, or you're already in UAE, depending on where you go. So when you go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, definitely there's an extra certification that definitely you need to do, what you call the SIRA certificate, or what you call the PCB, depending on which you require, depending on the zone that we are going to work. Maybe you're going to work in Sharjah, your free zones, or you're going to work in Dubai, or you're going to work in Abu Dhabi. There are different requirements that definitely, as particular company individual, that definitely will have to meet. When you're going to work on Oman, definitely it's the same thing. Okay, let us try to look at the situation now. The person is in Qatar and is ready to work. Yes, most of the times when you come, there's what we call induction trainings that may be given to the companies, may be given to you by the companies. Most of you will agree with me that the induction courses that are being given to you regarding first aid, MI training, you need to get a certificate, you need to pass the exams. All those trainings are just preparing you to get fit well and to start on the job. Yes, also they will teach you about what you call the local laws, company policy, also what you call the labor regulations. Most of you will agree with me that you've gone into trainings, and after trainings, then you are taken to what you call the Ministry of Interior. You go to do exams, and those exams meaning that you have to be able to pass what you call the exams and to be given a certificate in all of that. Hope that is what a little bit I'll share when it comes to what you call finding a security guard job in the Gulf, in Qatar. Step by step, I've given you step by step what you need to know and what definitely you need to understand. However, something that definitely you need to remember, something I need to remind you, is what we call an important reminder. If you are coming as a security guard, if you are planning as coming as a security guard, don't deal with what we call individual agents. It's quite very embarrassing. Most of these individual agents have ended up bringing you in these countries, especially Qatar, dropping you, but they cannot even getting you up. Then also we have recruitment fees. Yes, we look at illegal recruitment fees that are being paid, which are highly sums than what is expected of our salary or what we expect. Most of us have been lied in any way that they're going to be as a security, you're going to be earning 2,500. To your surprise, to expectation, you find that when you come into the company, it's going to be very different away from what you projected, and yet you paid a lot of what you call the recruitment fee to that agent. So you end up depressed in one way or the other. Yes, always another reminder, yes, always get what you call a signed contract before traveling. Yes, most of you, we've made mistakes. Even me, the first time I come as a security guard, I made that mistake. I did not know the kind of contract I signed. When I looked at the offer letter, it was 2 years. I was so much excited. But reaching here, I was given another contract, checking my online contract. It was a different case, which was 5 years, and definitely had no option. It gave me a lot of hardship for me to think, to reorganize my brain again for a couple of maybe 7 months until I get to come back to order. It's the same thing. Yes, if you were to have that contract signed, then what you need to know, have a screenshot or a copy of that center contract or even offer letter. It will help you. Most of you, you've seen the challenges here of change of sponsorship, where you do not have an NOC, you do not have a copy of contract. But remember, when you are coming from wherever you are coming, you are given an offer letter or you sign some partial contract. That should be one that you should be able to use in case you see your 2 years are done and you need to change what we call change of sponsorship. Then also, sometime, or last one, is what you call checking what you call the authenticity of what you call the offer letter. Yes, most of us have been given an offer letter, but try to find out, read and understand that offer letter before you put or before you sign. your signature on that. I myself also, I made very many temporal mistakes, which I don't want you to go through the same mistakes that I made, because things how they were here before, they are not the same way they are here before. Things are totally different and things are changing every single day. Hope I've tried to share something for you. By the way, if you're first time coming across Mexcreationtv, don't forget to hesitate to follow my TikTok account at Mexcreationtv. My sister channel, I am Mix, where I just give you the beauty of Qatar, visiting most very beautiful places around Qatar and all the world, never know. Then we go to my TikTok account, Mexcreation. Also, try to check most of those insights where I get to have a few of things that definitely I need to share for life experience. Remember, it's always